You know, it was really great that we got to see Terrence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz fight back to back, because we got to compare and contrast not only how different these fighters are, but it also gave us a clear vision of the double standards that exist inside the sport of boxing, and DAZN in particular. We knew that going into both of these fights, they were going to be tough. Even though Terrence Crawford was facing the much better competition, while Crawford at age 37 was moving up in weight and he was fighting the best fighter in the division, Vergil Ortiz, he was taking the training wheels off by facing the once beaten Berkachak. Sergey Berkachak, who was knocked out by Brandon Adams in a fight that could have been considered knockout of the year. This Sergey Berkachak gave Ortiz all that he could handle, which is why there's so much controversy surrounding the fight. Ortiz, who was knocked down twice in the fight, which means he was down 4 points. And if you do the math, that means all Berkachak had to do was win at least 3 more rounds, and he would have won the fight 7 rounds to 5. And clearly Berkachak, he won 3 rounds in the fight. So one of the biggest questions is, what would have happened if Terrence Crawford would have got knocked down twice by Madrimov, despite the fact that he was facing much better competition? Despite the fact that he's 37, moving up in weight. What would DAZN and the rest of old media have said if Crawford got knocked down twice by Madrimov and Crawford still won the fight? Not only would they be calling it the biggest robbery of all time, but even if they didn't get the decision, they would still be celebrating it as if it's the biggest win against Terrence Crawford, against an American black boxer. Do you guys know DAZN, they put up highlights of the Crawford-Madrimov fight? I'm talking about the video where they show clips of the entire card. Well, when they get to Crawford versus Madrimov, they only show clips of the 8th round and a couple seconds of the 12th round. That's all they showed. And coincidentally, they really only showed punches that Madrimov landed. And Crawford had rallied back in the 8th round. They showed no clips of Crawford landing punches in the 8th round. And then they show a small clip of the 12th round where once again, Madrimov is the one throwing punches, which was a round, by the way, that Terrence Crawford had won. So out of 12 rounds, they only show a small clip of the 8th round and a small clip of the 12th round. But then when you watch the highlights of Ortiz versus Berkachak, they make sure to show you almost every single punch that Ortiz landed in the entire fight, in every single round. The level of blatant propaganda is amazing. Because if you didn't watch the fight, right, the Crawford-Madrimov fight, and all you seen was DAZN's highlights, you would think that it was a one-sided fight that Madrimov won, which is exactly what DAZN was aiming to do. And this is the reason why the only good thing about this is we got to see the clear, obvious side-by-side comparisons from Crawford and Ortiz fighting a week apart. DAZN's commentator, they called Vergil Ortiz one of the brightest stars in all of boxing the night of the fight. And when Crawford was fighting, not one time did Todd Grisham or Sergio Mora or Chris Mannix call Terrence Crawford pound for pound the best fighter in the world. With that being said, now Turki Al-Sheikh, he has his sights set on making Terrence Crawford versus Vergil Ortiz, which would be a huge fight. But there's no guarantee that Ortiz is really going to take that fight, even though they're going to try to pressure him to take the fight. When Vergil did his post-fight interview, he was asked about fighting Terrence Crawford. The guy who was interviewing him, he told him that Turki Al-Sheikh, he said that he wants to make Crawford versus Ortiz next. And Ortiz, of course, he said, oh, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. But then at the same time, he also ended up saying that he was solely focused on fighting the winner of Fundora versus Errol Spence, a fight that hasn't even been announced yet. And even if it does get announced, it may be months and months and months away from now. In fact, Errol Spence said the fight might even be in February of next year. So while old media disrespects Terrence Crawford every chance they get, these boxers, they show the utmost respect for Crawford. Tim Tszyu was planning on avoiding Crawford before he lost to Fundora. Fundora avoided Crawford. Ortiz is now sounding suspect, or he's already been avoiding Terrence Crawford for years. But all of them make sure to call Terrence Crawford the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. Even Madrimov said that Terrence Crawford was his favorite fighter going into the fight. And then after the fight, in his post-fight interview, he kept saying over and over again, Crawford is pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Meaning he was basically saying it was a moral victory for him that he didn't get knocked out and made it a competitive fight by not really letting his hands go that much. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, the fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.